when I heard the story that the Saudi dissident journalist Jamal Khashoggi had disappeared in Turkey, and that the Saudis had murdered him in the consulate, I knew it was bullshit. I knew it was bullshit. I knew it was a lie. And so today I find out that, let's see, Al Jazeera reported on October the 2nd that the Turkish police had reviewed the video from the security cameras, and they showed that Khashoggi had left the consulate 20 minutes after going in. Okay, so Al Jazeera put that up there. It's Al Jazeera Arabic. This is the Facebook post that shows that this is what Al Jazeera reported. So the article, after all this the accusations of murder, after they came out and the global press started piling on, and Al Jazeera changed the story. But the initial story, published on October 2nd, was that Khashoggi was filmed leaving the consulate 20 minutes after he went in. So I knew from the beginning that the Saudis hadn't murdered him. And I've been saying so the whole time. My hope is that the Saudis and Trump and the Saudis' allies just absolutely fuck up the Washington Post, Esquire, the New York Times, Newsweek, Time Magazine, the LA Times, ABC News, CBS, CNN. I hope the Saudis ban them all and say you can't come into our country until you issue public apologies and you write. We took part in mob action. It turns out that the source for all the stories that they're reporting is a guy named Khaled Safouri. Okay, Khaled Safouri is he was an aide to Al Qaeda fundraiser Abdul Rahman Alamoudi, who is in prison. And the quote that Khaled Safouri is his quote is that Mohammed bin Salman was emboldened by Trump's anti-media rhetoric. Trump hates journalists, and he would not react if we killed one journalist, says Khaled Safouri. Now, I mean, this is. I understood what was happening fairly soon. Light? No, the light won't change. I understood what was happening fairly soon. First, you attacked the Saudis, okay, but then immediately the press began attacking Trump for not joining in the mob action. Why aren't you sanctioning Saudi Arabia? Why aren't you expelling the diplomats? Why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you doing that? So I knew what was going on, and I've been adamant since this started that the Saudis didn't murder anybody. And Al Jazeera reported that the Turks have the evidence that he didn't murder anyone. And everything that's coming out of Turkey right now is bullshit, because the Turks are losers. The Turks went from being the most advanced secular Muslim nation in the world to being another third world shithole. It's because they reverted. They reverted in a stupid way. They embraced a version of their religion that they thought would bring them empire, and Erdogan talks about the Ottoman slap. Okay, he's calling his country the Ottomans again. So the Ottoman Empire. This is the Saudis don't want empire. The Turks want empire. What you should do is you should look up video footage of the Turks and the Kurds fighting each other. It's like you're looking at video from the 9th century. They take no prisoners. The Turkish soldiers rape all the Kurdish women. They all film blown up bodies with guts hanging out, and topless women lying dead, and it's just these are savages, and it's they have no desire to improve. So when all of this started, I knew it was a Turkish fever dream. My guess is that Iran is involved in it too. So Trump knows what's going on. He's dropped very broad hints that he knows the Saudis didn't murder anybody. So the usual thing, or the usual things, they're all connected again. Lying, mob action, irrationality, gutlessness. I'm telling you that the Saudis didn't murder Jamal Khashoggi, and the Turks are lying their asses off. And the Saudis need to make everybody pay. They need to make everyone pay a really big cost, because all these gutless fucks are pulling out of the deals that they were working on with Saudi Arabia, and it's not guilty until proven innocent. Now it's just plain guilty. Someone makes an accusation, and you're supposed to join in. You're supposed to accept the accusation, and then you're supposed to take action. Reporters are asking Trump and the State Department, why haven't you taken action? Well, because everything you've reported, you fuckers, is campfire tales. You've offered no proof whatsoever. No evidence. What I admire about Saudi Arabia is that they are a very unforgiving culture, and I don't forgive, and I never offer second chances. So if I were Saudi Arabia, I would make everybody grovel. I would make everybody abase themselves, so that they would never do this again. This acceptance of accusation as fact has to stop, and the only way it's going to stop is if the accusers pay a gigantic price. So, name the reporter, ban them from ever setting foot in Saudi Arabia again, unless they and their bosses issue unequivocal apologies, and they say, we were not only wrong, we were maliciously wrong. Make them say that. Make them admit to that. We did what we did out of malice. So, the Saudis didn't murder anyone. Al Jazeera reported that the Turks have video of Khashoggi leaving the consulate 20 minutes after he entered. So, this whole thing is bullshit, as I told you on the day it happened. And the Saudis need to make people pay for doing this. That's what they need to do. So, there we go. Click.